Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with beautiful Ola and I'm going to be shooting for a designer you guys have seen on my channel before, Neva Neal. We are going to be shooting her spring summer 2020. We are here in beautiful Bali and we're going to be taking photos of her beautiful outfits. Before we get into this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell button to not miss any of my future uploads, and let's get right into the video. First, I'd like to thank Storyblocks for sponsoring my video. Storyblocks is a members only site that offers one-stop shop to high quality video footage as well as audio and photos. They offer high quality B-roll footage, After Effects templates and motion backgrounds that are all royalty free, so they can be used in a variety of your own projects as well as your YouTube videos. As most of you know, I film the majority of my behind the scenes myself. I don't really mind doing it, but sometimes it can be a tiny bit stressful when you have to manage your photo and video camera at the same time. So having a website like Storyblocks is super helpful to me as a creator, because I know I always have a B-roll footage to fall back on to make my videos more visually enhanced and just more beautiful, and it just takes the stress away out of the process of creating my own videos. Storyblocks offers professional quality 4K footage without breaking your budget as well. They offer different monthly and yearly pricing options depending on your needs. Once you join, anything in the video members library is yours to download as much as you want. They also continuously add new stock footage, so there's always something for you to download. Make sure to check out Storyblocks using my link, storyblocks.com/Anita, and happy browsing. And now let's get back into the video. When it comes to organizing the hair, makeup, the model, I usually do it myself because my client is not there. Thankfully, with the likes of Neve, because I've shot with her so many times, she trusts my opinion and she knows that I know what's good for her brand. So we work very well together. I always find models that I think will work well for her project. I know her budget, so whenever I speak to the model agencies or the models directly, I always give them my budget, or I get Neve to contact the agencies depending on the situation, but a lot of the time I deal with it directly. Depending on the look we are going for, we are going to either use hair and makeup, or we'll just get the model to do her own hair and makeup. For this particular shoot, we got the model to do her own because we thought she was just really naturally beautiful and we didn't really need much. And it worked out pretty well. Usually I find when you do hair and makeup, it does eat up into the shoot time. So if you have a half-day shoot and you have 4 hours, that usually means that an hour, hour and a half is going to be taken by hair and makeup, which is not ideal if you have a lot of looks to do. Like we had around 14 looks to shoot through, so it was definitely something to kind of incorporate or think about when you're planning your shoot. Lovely. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Lovely. Let me see what the light is like. Yeah, it's pretty nice because you have the palm trees. Okay, that's pretty. Okay, I'm gonna try and take a few full bodies as well. Lovely.
Hello, hello!
The photos in today's video were edited using my Bali Breeze preset pack. It's an older pack that is one of the originals, but it's a goodie. There is 6 presets in there. Each one comes with 2 adjustment layers just in case you want to adjust it a bit more. For this particular look, I used the Bali Breeze Ubud preset because it was nice and warm and I like how it looks. I adjusted a few things. I made the temperature even a tiny bit warmer because I thought it looked pretty nice. I added some exposure and contrast as well to kind of make sure that it fits perfectly with the photo. And here it is, the little before and after. If you want to check it out, make sure to go to my website, anitasadowska.eu. You can click the link in the description below and you'll get a little discount as well, so make sure to check it out. And now let's get back into the video. Okay, let's try here. On the shoot, I really also wanted to use a Vespa, so I found a rental place that had them. The rental was pretty cheap. I think it was only $10 or $20 per day. So we rented out the Vespa. I know how to ride the scooter, so I rode it to the location. and we used it in a few of the shots, which I thought was super cute. I think it really elevated the shoot and made it look so much more interesting. I always love using props, even if I'm in a location like Bali, because I just feel like it makes it so much more colorful and interesting, especially if you have a big story that is maybe like 10 to 14 looks. What if this leg was on the bottom? No, so this one on the floor, and this guy, yeah. So it's just not as spread, basically. Lovely, lovely, lovely. When it comes to location, I had a look around. I went into this beach the previous week to the shoot, and I saw this little house by the beach that I really liked. So I basically found it on Google Maps, and then from there I contacted the owners. It usually works differently depending on the shoot. For this particular one, I just contacted them. I said I would love to shoot there. They were kind enough to let me stay overnight as well in exchange for some content. I took some photos for the owner who does jewelry, so I just took some product shots for her while I was there. It wasn't much of a hassle for me. I was happy to do the exchange, and because of that we didn't have to pay for the location, which was very helpful for the client. So a lot of the time it obviously depends on your location, where you are in the world. Like if you were in the likes of LA, that would never happen, but because I am in Bali, there is a lot that can be exchanged or done in exchange of content. So that's just something that you have to consider based on your location. Yeah. So for this dress, because it matches kind of nicely with the aesthetics of the house, I thought that it would be very nice to kind of get the wooden details in it, because I think it kind of fits very well. Next, before the photo shoot, we did location scouting, as I mentioned. It's very important to know your location pretty well, especially if you're shooting this many looks in a very short period of time. I knew that my sun was going to be very harsh very early in the morning, so I needed to work quickly. We were going to start relatively early in the morning and then progress through that. So I was planning my locations according to where the sun is and how it moves in the sky. Obviously, to do that, you have to know your location pretty well and you have to be familiar with it. You can't just show up on the day and just hope for the best. Obviously, you can do that, but it's going to be much more stressful and it's going to take much more time for you to do it. So I definitely don't recommend that. I usually just come into a location the day before, whatever time I presume I want to shoot. So for example, if I was shooting 6 until 10, I would literally go there early in the morning and just see where the light is and how it moves throughout the sky, so I have a better idea. I'll plan the looks accordingly. I will set them up on the bed, basically look by look, just so I have them ready to go, so I can just take them out of the bag and just do it this way. When I work remotely, I am usually the stylist as well on the day, which adds even more pressure to me because I have to make sure that the makeup looks good, just visually, that the clothing is in the bag the way it's supposed to be, that the photos look great, that the location is there. So there's a lot of things to definitely organize and to keep in mind. Another thing that I always do is I always take quite a lot of behind the scenes for my client, just so she can have an idea of what I'm creating at the moment, what kind of looks I'm going for and so on. It's always very helpful for her because she's not there on the day. Thankfully with Neve, she trusts me a lot because we've been working together for years, so it's not really an issue of, her not trusting me, although I know that that's the case as well sometimes. So it's always a good thing to send your client visual feedback so they can be like, oh, can you fix this? Can you adjust that? Can you maybe fix the clothing, especially if you're dealing with it? So that's something to keep in mind as well. Lovely. A lot of the time when I'm shooting for designers, taking behind the scenes for them is almost equally as important as taking the actual photos, because a lot of the time it kind of fills up their feed. They're able to post much more, because especially if designers, especially the ones that I work with, they usually do like 2 shoots a year, which is not really a lot of content. And obviously to run your social media successfully, you have to have quite a lot nowadays. So it definitely helps to have that extra little bit of just stuff to post basically. Beautiful. Gorgeous. I shoot for a client for lookbook, as I was here with Neve. I always try and make sure that whatever I do always connects as a story. So whenever I put the model in certain places, I need to make sure that it all makes sense. I would never go into a business district somewhere in London and then shoot in a lush green garden somewhere, because it just wouldn't make sense. So you kind of want to make sure that it kind of flows as a story. It's kind of similar, like if you're thinking about it in terms of editorial, you can make the images flow and make sure that they look consistent next to each other on pages, even if your client doesn't use it for editorial and they always use it for website. It's still good to have some sort of consistency, especially afterwards in terms of color grading as well. You want to make sure that everything looks the same and is consistent in look. Also, it's very important to always find out what kind of photos does your client need for the shoot. Do they need landscapes? Do they need portraits? A lot of the time they will need landscapes for banners for their website, and that's something that should definitely be discussed beforehand. You should discuss the amount of images that need to be done, the angles that need to be done, and so on. So you should all lay it out beforehand, before the shoot even starts, because if you leave it till after, it might be too late. I've been caught out in this situation before, especially with landscape images. I don't take a lot on the day, so if I specifically am not asked to take landscapes, I probably won't. So it's very, very important to speak to your client, be very open and communicating about stuff that needs to be done, and then go from there. So for this look, I'm gonna be shooting kind of really low down because I want to show the palm trees behind us. Actually, don't step away from this tree because it's kind of getting in the way. Maybe let's just get down here. Beautiful. Gorgeous. This way, because it's kind of like nice with the... Yeah. Cute. Yeah, I love that. That's really nice. That looks gorgeous. Yeah, that's really pretty. What if you were kind of like even like sideways, kind of like that, because the dress is kind of like, yeah, exactly. Beautiful. On the day we had to do over 14 looks, which is quite a lot. It's usually quite a cramped day to do this many looks. We had to start very early in the morning, around 6 a.m. and then we finished around noon. It was a very cramped day. We also didn't only shoot in the location that we picked. We shot around it. We didn't shoot inside of the house because it was a bit too dark. So we shot around the area. We shot in the surrounding areas and in like the neighborhood in Bali, and then we shot at the beach as well the last few looks. So it was all relatively close by. When you have this many looks, you don't want to have to travel from one location to the other because it really does eat up into your time. So I would usually find locations that are super close by that you can just get to in 5 minutes time and just shoot and get it over with. In terms of looks, I usually shoot 2 to 3 looks per hour depending. It usually takes me around 20 minutes per look, including change. So it is a very, very tight schedule and you have to keep that in mind. So it depends. Some people shoot slower, some people shoot faster. It all depends on your client's needs. A lot of the time you can maybe work out which clothing is more maybe like staple to the collection, so you know which looks to prioritize and put a bit more effort into. And then a lot of this time there's certain looks in the collection that might be just fill-up looks that you could pretty much shoot very similar to each other in the same location, which always helps, because if you can shoot 2 or 3 looks in the same spot, that's going to save you so much time you have no idea. So it's definitely worth just chatting to the client, see what they say, see if there's any favorites that they have, if there's any side looks that they are okay to just kind of, you know, leave towards the end and just shoot in more of an e-com style. But that's just something that you have to discuss with the client. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you guys next time.